Well, hello there. Welcome back to Coffee Break Blogging, where we're going to continue on our series to creating and growing a profitable blog-based information business online. First of all, I want to welcome you into 2015. This is my first podcast of the year. Almost thought I might not get this thing out on time today. See, I have a Wednesday and Saturday release schedule that I've imposed on myself for this podcast, but I actually brought in the new year with a cold, which kind of sucked. I actually went out in my RV to finish planning out all of my business goals for 2015, and I came down with a cold while I was in there. So I spent a lot of time snotting and all that. Only bring this up because I was really hoarse. I actually didn't know if I was going to sound okay to record this episode, but as it turns out, my voice is fairly normal today. Still coughing a little bit, but I'm going to go and get this thing out because once I set a goal, if Wednesdays and Saturdays is my time to get this episodes out, I want to stick to it as much as I can. So that's what we're going to do. Today, we're going to talk about how to define your reader avatar. Now, an avatar is something that you may be familiar with. This is not referring to the James Cameron movie. The avatar is basically a concept of coming up with a caricature of an actual person that you are going to be talking to with your blog. Now, we've got what's called the reader avatar, which is going to be your typical blog reader. And then we've got your customer avatar, which is going to be the typical person who is going to buy things from you. And they can be two different things. I mean, the honest truth is that a majority of your actual blog readers are not going to become buyers of yours. And that's just pretty much normal. So you want to know what type of person typically is going to be buying from you, but you also want to know what type of people are coming to your blog because it's going to definitely have an impact on what type of content that you make and how you address them. So that is what the reader avatar is. It's a caricature. In the same way that it worked in the movie, by the way. I mean, in the movie, the characters that we saw in the movie were symbols of the person who was in the real world, and they had this character that they used in this other world that was their avatar. That was kind of the entire idea behind the word there. And it's the same thing with regard to what we're doing online, is that we're creating this caricature of the people that we are talking to. Now, by doing this, we're coming up with a lot of different traits. This is not something where we're coming up with some cartoon character just for our own giggles. This is really something where we are doing it so that we can really learn all of the nitty-gritty about their attitudes, their demographics, how they view things, what they're looking to achieve, things like that. It's super important so that you can really tailor your content to them, but you can also create the exact products that they are going to want. You can, when you create the sales page for that, you can make that copy really resonate with people, and you're not going to be able to do that unless you have a good understanding of exactly who you're speaking to. So let me go through some of the questions that you might ask yourself when it comes to coming up with your own avatar for your readers. Now, I'm going to be going by a worksheet that I have inside the training area of the Blog Marketing Academy. I'm just going to kind of give you a few highlights here off of this worksheet. First of all, you got the basic demographics that you want to come down to. Starts off with the person's name. Now, I will say, this is an avatar, so the avatar, you could give that person a name. It's going to be, something that you made up. Or if you have a reader who you notice is constantly commenting on things, they've bought things from you, basically they are like your ideal person, use their name. This avatar is not something that's going to be used by anybody but yourself. So, but the whole idea is you want to make this person as real as possible. So you can either use a real person's name here, or you can just simply make one up. It doesn't really matter. Now, you'll also come up with their age, whether they're married or not, how many children they have, where they live, did they go to school, high school, college, versus, et cetera, et cetera. What do they do for a living? How much money do they make? How long have they been employed? That gives you an idea of if these are the types of people who are constantly jumping from one thing to the next, looking for something better, or whether they're more into longevity. How many jobs have they held during their career? Same basic idea. What are their political viewpoints? Now, again, does it really matter for what we're doing? Not so much. But politics and the next one is religion do give you an idea of the kinds of people that you're speaking to. Now, again, these are all average ideas. These are not something that, obviously when it comes to politics, you're probably going to have people in your readership who are all over the political spectrum. That's normal. What you're doing is coming up with an avatar, it's a caricature. So if you knew that a majority of your readers leaned one way or the other in terms of politics, and then the majority one might be the one that you put in your political views. Now, you might ask yourself, why do questions like this matter? Well, for example, political views usually are going to come with different viewpoints on life that go along with the typical viewpoints of that political idea. And if you want to know what those people's life viewpoints are so that you can resonate with them and have a reality with them when you speak to them about a different topic. Same thing with religion. Obviously, if you're unless you really have a religion or a politics blog, you're probably never going to talk about either one of these topics. But it's just a matter of you knowing what type of person you're dealing with. Just off the top of my head, if you knew that a lot of your readers were hardcore Catholics, you might not want to cuss on your blog. I mean, I'm just coming up with that off the top of my head. So, it is useful to know those types of things. Keep on going down the list. We've got what are their interests? What are their hobbies? But then you go deeper. You want to go into things like what are their favorite brands? What websites do they frequent? Are they active on Twitter or Facebook or LinkedIn or any other social networks? What are their personal goals and their business goals and their family goals? What are their top 3 problems that they are experiencing that would make them an ideal customer for your business? What are the bad things that could possibly happen to your ideal customer if this problem that they have is not solved? It's been said before when it comes to avatars, there's the common phrase of what keeps them up at night. You want to know that. It might not be literal. These people might not literally be losing sleep over something, but the whole idea there is that you want to dive into what is on their mind, and it's specifically related to your niche and what you are going to be talking about on your blog, because those are the problems that you want to help them solve. And as we've discussed in previous episodes here, your business is going to be built on providing solutions to their problems. So you definitely want to know what those problems are. Now, when it comes to those problems, you want to dive a little deeper into what the meaning of those problems are. For example, how do those things make them feel? How is it going to make the people around them react? What could happen to their life because of that problem? How might that problem affect them financially? What are any of the personal consequences that they might have? What about career consequences? What are they secretly afraid of? Now, you're getting deep, and I'm not going to go through every little piece of this worksheet that I have here. And in fact, if you want to dive deeper on that, I obviously have training on that inside the Blog Marketing Academy membership area. But all this being said, I want to make this one final point, and that is that you might not necessarily know some of these things. So you might get confused on how the hell are you going to fill out this profile of this avatar. Well, there is a process that you can go through, but I'll give you a few general ideas. One is that you could actually go out and connect with some of the people who would be potential or real members of your audience and actually communicate with them one-on-one. Maybe invite them onto a Skype conversation and ask them. And be upfront with them. Let them know what you're doing. Give them the out. Make sure that if they feel that anything's too personal, they do not have to answer the question. But you can actually ask people directly some of these things. The other thing that you could do is just by observing what people are talking about. In fact, if you go back to the episodes that we did where we talked about niche research, this was in episodes, I think, 38 and 39, things like that. You were going to go out there and do market intelligence. You're going to be out there observing what people are actually talking about. Well, in the process of that, you're going to be observing what people are actually talking about. And usually by looking into the wording that they're using what they're talking about, you can actually infer some of the things that we are talking about with this reader avatar. So you want to go through it. You want to do the best that you can. It's not going to be perfect. It is going to evolve over time. This is not something that you're going to create once and think, done. I'm never going to have to think about this ever again. No, the more that you learn about people over time on your blog or people who buy from you, you're going to update this thing. Because over time, it's going to be a very useful tool for you when it comes to actually tailoring everything that you do to the exact people that you're looking to serve. The other thing from a copywriting perspective, and also from sometimes even just the idea of making videos, it really helps to envision you speaking to an actual person rather than this anonymous bunch of crowd out there. And by really knowing who your avatar is, and what many people do with their avatars, they'll actually assign a photo to them. They'll actually have a profile and they will literally put a photo on there. Now, it might not be a photo of that actual person, because this actual person is a caricature that you've made. But you go out there and find a photo of a person that seems to represent that type of human being to you and throw them into your avatar profile. And then when you are creating videos, or when you're writing, or when you're doing what I'm doing right now, and that is talking to you, I could envision you sitting on the other end of this, having the earphones in your ears as you're listening to this podcast, and I could envision you. And it makes it much easier for me to speak to you, because I would have this idea, this avatar in my mind of who you are, even though I might not have ever met you before. And that is a very useful tool when it comes to creating your content. It's going to make your content better, and it's going to make your products better too. So that is the reader avatar. I definitely recommend that you put some thought into this. If you want to dive deeper into that, head over to the Blog Marketing Academy and look at the VIP program, because that is the program that gets you into the membership training area of the Blog Marketing Academy. And we do have a course in there that's currently called the Content Marketing Clinic, and it goes through this avatar process in more detail. It also has the full worksheet that will walk you through everything on actually creating this avatar. So that's over at the Blog Marketing Academy. That's where it comes from. So that's where everything can be found. Okay, that's pretty much it for today. I hope you found that useful. Definitely put it to use. I will see you next week. Or actually, no, it won't be next week. I'm doing 2 episodes a week. So it'll be probably on Saturday, if everything goes according to schedule. That will be episode 45, where we're actually going to pause and do a little pit stop and look at where we are with Coffee Break Blogging. Kind of do a little review and see what's coming up. Because these episodes do go in a particular order. These episodes actually do go in an orderly sequence from beginning to end. So it's helpful to kind of see where we stand. Okay, I'll see you then.